here, coming at you live at my home office. Thank you to everybody who's tuning in. I just got done, just got back to the house. I did another video I'll actually be putting out tomorrow about my new listing. Did a little marketing video so stay tuned for that tomorrow. So a little update in the life of me. Just had a successful client event, rented out a theater for all my clients and their friends and family. And we all watched Ant-Man Quantumania over at Palms Theater in Waukee. So that was really fun. So again, my live videos I do every week on Tuesdays. I like to go live for a little bit and open up to a forum for a Q&A to give an opportunity for people who maybe aren't really ready to actually meet with a real estate agent, go look at houses and kind of really get into it. To give them an opportunity to come on and ask some questions with no pressure, no obligations, just some good old fashioned education. So thanks a lot for tuning in, and I'll kind of get right to it. So today I was sitting with Jeff Downing. He's another real estate agent over at Remax Precision, and we've known each other for a long time. And Jeff is doing a new segment where he's promoting new listings, and mine happened to be a listing he wanted to promote. So we went and did a video of that, and then we just kind of started talking about the current state of the market. And it's really interesting because we're sitting at interest rates are higher, right, than they have been for the last 4 years. Really, the interest rates have been at historical lows. And so the rates that we're at now are really average rates, but compared to the last 4 years, they're really high. And so what happens is, in a normal market, as the interest rates go up, buying power goes down. So what that means is Les Solgrove did a segment on this where, in January, when interest rates were at 7% for a $1,200 a month payment, the buying power for a buyer, general buying power, was about $170,000. Okay. So that really puts things into perspective. When the interest rates dropped down to 6%, that buying power jumped to $193,000. So what does that mean in layman's terms? Essentially, as the rates go up, the buying power reduces, thus for making it harder for sellers to sell, meaning that inventory should essentially rise. As a result of that, what we're seeing right now is a little bit of a phenomenon with those rates. And it affects you if you are a homeowner or if you're a first-time home buyer. All this affects you. So what is happening is there's two things that are happening in the market right now, two major issues, so to speak. And so I'm going to kind of discuss that a little bit and break that down. So the first issue are you've got rate locked existing homeowners and the fear of not finding something to buy. So those are the biggest dynamic issues right now, causing even as the rates have gone up, keeping the inventory low. So what does that mean? A rate locked homeowner, that means that currently homeowners who bought in those low interest rates don't want to buy at a higher rate. And so they get what's called rate locked, where they're going to stay in their home a little bit longer and see hopefully those rates go down. As those rates go down, the demand goes up and the buying power goes up, which should allow them to A, sell their home, and B, get another home at a good rate. So what do you do about that? So I talk a lot about, dating the rate and marrying the house. So marry the house, date the rate. And what that means is if you can afford the payment and you're okay with it, you're not pushing yourself too thin, you can find a home within what your monthly payment is. Then you're wanting to sell or you're wanting to buy, then don't worry so much about the rate right now. Just worry about getting the home that you want to get. You can always refinance to a lower rate. Another thing that current homeowners should be thinking about when they're going to sell their home is, looking at different avenues and different ways to sell their home and not have to pay that expensive rate. And so a lot of new construction, a lot of builders right now are doing rate buy downs. And so what that means is that they're actually going to put money towards your rate to buy your rate down and get your rate lower for a limited amount of time. Usually it's a 2 to 3 year rate change. So let's say you buy your rate down from 8% to 6%. That'll stay at 6% year one. It'll go to 7% year two, and then 8% back to 8 year three. It is designed to not hit that year three mark, to refinance when the rates go back down. So that is one strategy that you can use in order to do that. Sea of Thieves. He says, "Oh, so I don't know. I think that you're coming." He says, "Why is your streaming? Why is your streaming Sea of Thieves?" I had a Twitch channel, and so I'm streaming from Twitch, and I don't know, to be quite honest. It's new. I don't tend to have a ton of followers on that to communicate on Twitch, so I decided to change it up, not do as much streaming for gaming, which I do like to do on the side, but do some streaming for real estate. So I don't know why it's saying that, but I do appreciate the heads up, and maybe I can figure out how to fix that. So thank you for tuning in and asking that question there. So again, there the market is kind of, like I said, in a phenomenon right now where rates have gone higher, but inventory is still low. And so what it's doing is it's averaging out. It's essentially leveraging out. So right. So meaning that it's leveling off, and it's being pretty consistent. And so that's really good news for both sides, for buyers and sellers. Sellers are still getting a premium price for their home, and giving up a little bit more of the some type of concessions like rate buy downs, and sellers are, paying some of those closing costs. So, buyers can finance those closing costs into their loan, and ask the seller to pay that cost up front, which keeps the amount of that you have to bring into close low. And then again, buying your rate down, where a seller will actually use some of that, they'll give you a credit toward your rate. And so if you really want to get into the depths of that, then, hit me up, let me know. And then I will, I can discuss it further for you, because every situation is different. Every strategy is different, and every buyer has a different situation. So what I do is I look at your specific situation. We talk about your goals, whether buying, selling, or investing. We talk about your goals, what you specifically want, and then we build a strategy based on that, right? And so it's a really really in-depth conversations that I have. So I've got a question here from Kent Parker. So do you think we should wait before I buy? Well, that's a great question. And so I really think that depends on your specific situation. So what makes you want to buy now, and what makes you think about waiting to buy? Is it just interest rates alone? How is your, there's a lot of questions I have with that. Are you renting? Do you have to get out? Why are you buying? Are you relocating? So there's a lot of situations. So I think that if you are thinking about buying, then have a conversation. I would love to have a conversation with you about that. And we can talk about, if it's a good idea for you to buy. So your follow-up is it's essentially the rates, right? So yes, a higher interest rate is going to reduce your amount of buying power. So what I would say is, before you decide whether it's right or wrong for you to buy, you should figure out what that looks like for you. And what I mean is, you should go and see what your rate will be, what your income allows for the amount of a home that you can buy, what your budget for your home is, what that monthly payment is going to be. Okay. Because if you can find a home that you like and you can afford that monthly payment, then the rate doesn't matter as much to you right now, because you're going to be in the home, and the amount of equity that you'll build over time, buying now as opposed to waiting for rates to go down, you could be missing out on a ton of equity that you're building into that home early on. And so, yeah, so it really just depends on your specific situation. And if it's something that you want to discuss a little further with me, I can definitely help you figure that out. I'm not the type of person who, as a real estate agent, my job is to help you so you don't make, major decisions, that you don't make the wrong decisions, right? And so to kind of talk you through those things. And so, we may look at your situation and say, yeah, based on your specific situation, you may want to wait to buy, or you're pre-approved for 180,000. You're looking for a 3-bed, 1-bath house in Des Moines, and your monthly payment's going to be, $1,200. And you have that, and you're okay with that. Then yes, now would be the time for you to buy if that's what you're looking for. Another thing that people are worried about is, how much is it going to cost me to buy a home? Because you have your down payment, you have closing costs, you have insurance, you have taxes, you have inspections, you have earnest money. So there's a lot of money that you're going to need to have that. Your biggest expense is going to be your down payment. You can usually get into a home as a first-time home buyer. If you haven't bought or sold a home bought a home within 3 years, you'd be considered a first-time home buyer. And you can get into a home for as little as 3 to 3.5% of your purchase price. So if you're looking at $100,000 house, that's $3,000 to $3,500. If you're looking at a $200,000 house, that's $6,000. $6,000 to $7,500, I think, So now with that said, then you're going to have closing costs. So you're looking at, let's say, $200,000. You're going to need, $6,000 for a down payment. You're going to need a few grand for a closing cost. You're looking at $9-10 grand. That's a lot of money, obviously, and a lot of people use their savings for that. A lot of people use their taxes for that down payment. And I have a lender right now that is actually doing a down payment grant program where they can help you with your down payment up to $10,000. So that goes a long way in keeping your costs down. So, a perfect strategy, you can get down payment assistance, and you can get your closing costs paid by the seller. You can get into a home for, $2-3 grand even. So very, very affordable in order to buy a home, and a lot of great programs out there for that. So thank you, Kent, for those questions. Do I think you should wait before I buy because of the rates is what you said there. So again, just depends on your scenario. So my first question would be, what makes you want to buy a home? Why do you want to buy? Are you sick of renting? Because if you're looking at it from a purely monthly payment standpoint, what are you paying for rent right now? And rents are constantly going up, just continuously going up, so $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 a month, you're not getting much, you're not getting much at all. And you could essentially buy a home for that same monthly payment, so it just really depends on your specific situation there. So a lot of different ways to navigate you through that market, though. If it's something that you're looking into, let me know, and I'd be happy to discuss that further with you. So anybody else, go ahead. This is an open forum, so if you have any questions whatsoever, just go ahead and ask them, and then I will read them live. I typically go for about 15-20 minutes, and then if I'm getting questions, I'll continue to go till about 7 o'clock or until the questions die off. And then I'll be back next Tuesday as well. So you're, Kent said, so the rent is about the same as a mortgage now, right? Okay. So if your rent and your mortgage are going to be the same, then you're better off. I personally think you're better off buying a home. The reason is because, yes, you do have to account for, when you rent, the landlord's going to fix things that go on with the house. When you own a home, it's on you to fix those things. So you got to mitigate some of those costs, and I help you navigate through that as well. But as you pay your mortgage down and your home price increases, the difference between those is your equity, and you build that equity over time. And so if I would have waited, over the last 2 years, home prices have gone up $15,000, $20,000, just in 2 years. And so think about that when you're thinking about buying or waiting. If your home price goes up 10, 15, 20 grand in 2-3 years, all that equity that you would have missed out on just because you wanted a lower rate. So again, you can always refinance down to a lower rate, but you won't always be able to find the home that you want in the time that you want it. So thank you very much, Kent, for those questions. Those are really great questions too. So, and as far as sellers go, on the sell side of the home, again, you want to get creative on figuring out why you're selling, why you want to sell. Do you have to sell? If you have to, then we've got you're buying high, you're selling high, you're buying low, you're selling low. And those are kind of a moot point if you're looking to get your home sold. Right now, it's still really good. And it's really good for both sides right now is what I'm seeing. So yes, inventory is low, but there is enough that people are seeing enough and not have to make a decision, within minutes or hours. The last few years, clients literally had 20 minutes, 30 minutes on a $300,000 home. So I'm seeing more breathing room, but they are getting the price that they won live, So I think it's just been a pretty win-win for both sides. Buyers aren't paying $15,000-$20,000 over asking. They're not getting into multiple 3, 4, 5, 10 offers on the same house. Or like I've had clients where we had to write 5, 6 offers, but we've got one accepted, and that can be emotionally grueling. And so I deal with a lot of that emotional process of buying. And that's what I'm here for, is to try to help keep those emotions in check and keep you understanding what's going on. And for you to know that these results are pretty typical, so you're not the only one out there going through this. The emotional highs and lows of a real estate transaction are real. And it's one of the things that I enjoy doing is talking to my clients and helping them figure out the right strategy for them. So I never give advice that I wouldn't myself use with the knowledge that I know. So every time that I'm giving you advice, it's been well thought out. I've seen it time and time again, and I continue to. Oh, hey, what's up, Buford? That's Buford. Say hi, buddy. He came in to join my live. That's my buddy. Yeah, what are you doing? Thanks for coming in, man. Good to see you. So yeah, Buford's my mascot. He's in all my real estate photos. So but again, the buying process and the selling process is always very specific to each individual person. And so, like I said, homeowners are kind of being rate locked. So that's keeping that inventory low when we're normally seeing rates that come up, that the inventory comes up pretty quickly. But right now it hasn't been. You're also having lower inventory because of the winter time too. So high rates during the winter time, you're going to see lower inventory in the winter. So as the spring market kicks up, I think we're going to see a pretty good spring market. And so now would be the time to, if you're thinking about buying a home, getting into it now and starting to figure things out, especially because taxes are coming up. So people are getting their taxes. A lot of people are, and a lot of people use those taxes to put their down payment down on a home. There's other things you can do for a down payment. Again, the mortgage company. Oh, there's the other guy. There's Diesel. He's actually Novus's mascot. This is Diesel. Say hi, buddy. Say hi to everybody. So this is Novus's mascot. They're the mortgage company I was just speaking about, and this is the guy who's giving you guys the $10,000 down payment grant. So you say hi to everybody. Say hello. Hi, everyone. All right, buddy. So he never misses a closing. So he's been to more closings than I have in his real estate career. So he just got home from the mortgage office. So, but yeah, so anyways, I do appreciate you guys tuning in again. Anytime that you have any questions, you don't have to wait for my live. You can comment during my lives. I get on about 6 o'clock every Tuesday for about 20-30 minutes at a time. And then, and you can always hit me up, private message me on any of my channels. I'm on Twitch. I've got my YouTube channel. It's at Sold DSM on YouTube, Facebook Sold DSM, Instagram Sold DSM. And then my personal Facebook page, this is where I do a lot of my marketing, honestly, is gosh, I don't even know what it is, to be quite honest. Hold on. I'll tell you what it is in about 10 seconds. I think it's Chris 83 or something. Chris Lewis 83. So facebook.com/Chris Lewis 83 is my personal Facebook page. So go ahead and give me a like and check out my my pages. There's a lot of information on there as well. And I do market updates and stuff a lot too. So I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. I'm going to make it short and sweet tonight, so I appreciate it a lot. And if you have any questions, make sure you hit me up. Otherwise, thanks a lot, guys. This is Christopher Lewis with the Lewis Real Estate Group. I found the Realty in Clive. Oh, we got one more question here. So we're going to keep going a little bit. So this is coming from this is like Christian Macias. Me and my girl are wanting to rent to own, but her credit score is at 585. And it has to be past 600. Okay. So essentially, are you looking to see what you can do to raise your credit score to get to that 600? I've got a lot of questions for you when it comes to rent to own. Is it just the credit score that is keeping you thinking about renting to own as opposed to getting traditional financing? The reason why I ask that is because typically a rent to own, it's not usually great for the buyer. There's no bank involved, so there's no foreclosure process. So you miss a payment, they can evict you and keep all of your money. You typically have to have a much higher down payment for rent to owns. They're usually going to ask for 10% down, and they're going to want a little higher interest rate. They're going to charge you a little higher rate as the seller's financing the home themselves. So. And they're going to usually ask for a little bit of a higher of a credit score. So, Christian, I think that you may want to look into traditional financing. Okay, she said, or he said, we tried to get a loan and buy a house, but they told us her credit score was supposed to be at 640. Okay. So I don't know when that was. Are you here in Des Moines? I don't know when. There was a time during COVID that they tightened up regulations. And so they were making it be a 640 credit score. Since then, those regulations have eased and relaxed. And so you can actually get, oh, okay, perfect. You're here in Des Moines. So I have a lender who can actually can actually lend on credit scores as low as 580. So you don't have to be at 640. So if her credit score is at 585, depends on if you had the loan, if you had it pulled from a lender and they told you the credit score is 585, then that's going to be pretty close. If it's from Credit Karma, you might be a little below that 580 on your FICO, which is the way the banks did tell. But if they said that your credit score is 585, I think you would be fine there. And as long as, depending on how long it's been, if you've been making payments on time, if you've been paying credit card debt down, if you've been paying student loan debt down, whatever, payments you've been making, as long as they've been on time and you're paying your debts down, your credit score is going to rise. There are also tricks to the trade to get your score up is like quicker than normal. And so I can help you, figure that out with along with the lender partner. We can help you, guide you through that to get your score up higher. A better score is obviously better for your rate, but it's not the end of the world. So, Christian, I would say if you are looking to rent to own, or I would say to look back in traditional financing and see if you can get it if your score is above that 580, because you can get the down payment assistance, so you don't have to pay a down payment, and you're going to have a better rate than rent to own. And for some reason, if you miss payments, the bank's going to work with you. An owner, a private owner may not work with you at all, because all they have to do is kick you back out, put it back out to rent to own, and get another person to give them a down payment. And so they're not bound by the laws. So I think you're much more protected with traditional financing. So if you are wanting to, Christian, look into that kind of financing, you just private message me on Facebook, or text me. My cell phone's 515-779-8983. You can send me an email, Chris at solddsm.com. So I'll put that up here. That's my phone, my cell, my email. Chris at solddsm.com. And you can go to my website and sign in there. There's my website too. If you sign in there, you might get some messages from my business phone, and then you just tell me you saw me on live, and we can set up a time to chat. So, okay, perfect. Yeah. So yeah, private message me on Messenger, and we can talk a little further about it. But I do think that you're most people are surprised with what they can actually get for a home, and that they can actually get a loan for a home when they don't think they can. I have a lot of clients who get a hold of me and they're like, I don't think I'm ready to buy. Say, well, let's have the lender take a look. The lender take a look, boom, they're pre-approved, and we find them a home in a couple months. So thank you, Christian, for those questions there. I really appreciate that, and I appreciate everybody that's tuning in. If you guys have any more questions, I'll sit here for a little bit and kind of murmur around, but if I don't get any more questions in the next couple minutes, we'll go ahead and sign off. And then remember, I'm doing this every Tuesday at 6 o'clock. So I do appreciate everybody who tunes in to my lives. And I hope that you guys find value in the stuff that I'm talking about, because I think that my goal as a real estate agent is to be a resource of information and to provide value to everyone. And hopefully they have the right information, so you can make the best decision for you and your family, because that's at the end of the day, it's all about you. And I take that very seriously in my career to try to make it. It's not all about you get everything you want, and I can't make everything happen. I'm just a person, but I'm really good at my job and I know what I'm doing. And so I can help you guide you through and navigate the crazy game we call real estate. So again, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. I really do appreciate that a lot. And don't forget to go check out my socials again online. I'll put them out there. There's my YouTube is youtube.com/solddsm. My personal Facebook. Facebook.com/Chris Lewis 83. So you can go check out my personal page too. Add me as a friend, and I appreciate everybody tuning in. So gonna leave it here for a couple more minutes. Anybody have any other questions about buying or selling a home? Anything that they've wanted to ask but have been too afraid to? Remember, there's no dumb questions, on here. If you don't know. You're not going to learn if you don't ask, So again, if you're just tuning in, a couple questions that we got were talking about wanting to buy and your credit score is that not quite 600, and you can buy with a credit score as low as 580. 3% down, plus a lot of lenders have, and my preferred lender partner has down payment assistance programs too. So just wait a little bit longer, see if anybody else has any other questions, and then we'll sign off here in about 30 seconds. So. There's my personal or my business page too on Facebook as well. So Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for those great questions. Again, like I said, everybody's situation is different, and I am super happy to go over your own personal situation and help navigate and help you determine if now is the time for you to buy or not. So again, thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful day. See you next week.